Are you a full tithe payer? And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. Are you a full tithe payer?
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Well, turns out I had a Wednesday video after all. The ones that were early were just bonuses. So, in case you're new, we're in the latter days. Everything's being fulfilled. I have that separate video to go over eventually, maybe. I also have a religious discussion with ex-Mormons. Mormons have rejected the latter days, and so the scriptures tell us that that is supposed to happen. So Mormons are also fulfilling the latter days prophecies. And the concept is that the Christ then goes to the streets to get people to attend the wedding feast instead, because those who were invited rejected it. Puts a new twist on the parable of the 10 virgins. And then, so tithing. The church has paid Russia. And if you don't understand where the source of that money comes from, let me go over it for you. Malachi. When Mormons go in at the end of the year for their tithing settlement, they meet with the bishop. Our ward here, the bishop insisted on doing every single one. But sometimes you'll have counselors do it instead. The bishop or whoever will read to you from Malachi. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. Wherein have ye robbed me? In tithes and offerings. He separates tithes from offerings, and then goes on to explain tithes. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. Now, a church is separate than a government, and so it is not for the building up of the church, not for the buildings, not for publications of the Torah. It's for the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted. That's what tithing is supposed to be used for. And it's surplus, which is interest from the Doctrine and Covenants passage about tithing. 10% of your interest annually. That's why it was written that way. And so what the hell was Lorenzo Snow thinking, changing that doctrine, changing that ritual of giving to the poor? It was Lorenzo Snow with the Windows of Heaven, which never happened. It never happened. Nope, it was just Lorenzo Snow who decided, yeah, we're going to make it so that tithing now pays for the debts that the church incurred from the Edmunds-Tucker Act for stopping them of their crimes and polygamy. Polygamy is a crime. Book of Mormon emphasized it, as Senior refused to participate in polygamy of the New Israelites, and wanted to make sure that that doctrine was enforced. And so, as Mormons no longer are agricultural, as office workers now take over the church, I had a whole bunch of Mormons who were slaves to other corporations. And so what do? How do you get money if Mormons are not independent business owners to obtain interest to pay tithing from annually? So it became wages, taxing the slaves of Mormonism. And it's even worse because when you go in for a temple recommend interview, even your interview to become a convert to Mormonism, you are asked, and it's number 10. I did the whole video. I've got the little segment clip by Nelson. He made the mistake of declaring the protection racket in the public domain openly, because that's what tithing is, when it is extorting your eternal salvation, extorting your participation in religion, extorting your protection of the latter-day burning that shall burn as an oven. And so, what is tithing called among Mormons? Fire insurance. It's a protection racket. Because the mafia organizations that got busted for being mafia organizations, well, they had to find another racket to claim the money, and so they went into insurance and unions. And we all know how well that works. When you need your insurance money because of car damage or home damage or death in the family, all of a sudden they claim that, oh no, you weren't fully covered for that. Well, it's only worth that much. They bitch and moan about giving you the full amount, which then requires you to go hire an attorney who's all drooling, waiting for you to come to him to pay him money on top of the money he's going to get what you deserve. So yeah, the church has been running this racket for over 100 years. And I throw in the financial crimes. The pyramid scheme, when we pay for our missions or our families or donations to the missionary fund, which then the church takes 10% out and invests it in a separate investment company other than Ensign Peak Associates. Ensign Peak Associates is just for the tithing. Remember that. Missionaries go out and recruit. And they recruit people who participate in the protection racket. So what is a pyramid scheme? Well, you have people go out and recruit and give money, which goes to the top guy at the pyramid. That's a pyramid scam. That's the church. The people who are recruited go out and recruit others, and all goes to the top of the pyramid. A pyramid scam. It doesn't matter if they sell stuff. If there's recruiting involved, where the money of recruiting goes to the top of the pyramid, it's a pyramid scam. So doTERRA, as the stake president out in Harriman, They just changed the new state presidencies. Harriman was one of them. I saw doTERRA there, and he's the big head guy over doTERRA. It's a pyramid scam. Plus, the oils are hazardous to your health. Don't use them. So don't buy it. But that's the whole thing with a pyramid scam. You have a product that's overpriced. Avon, USANA. USANA is also run and organized by Mormons, and the church invests in USANA also. That's why Utah does not come out with anti-pyramid scams laws, is because the church is a pyramid scam itself, and they've got to be careful not to get the church in trouble. That's why they don't go after insurance. That's why they don't go after pyramid scams. That's why they don't go after protection rackets, because they don't want to inadvertently have to take down the church. And so, yeah, when there are new temples being built, and you notice Nelson is going on a temple buying spree. Yeah, he has to pay for these temples to be built. He doesn't just get an arrangement with the government saying, oh yeah, okay, you can have this land to build your temple for free. No, the church has to pay for it. They have to pay oftentimes up front, depending on where it is, rather than a monthly payment plan. And so when Nelson came out and declared a temple in a major city yet to be determined in Russia, the church had already put down a deposit. They paid Russia. Where's our temple? Oh, the church, thanks to Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah, Mormon, got into a big old fight with Senator Sherrod Brown at the end of 2017 while Monson was on his deathbed. And Senator Brown was complaining that this bill doesn't take care of, this tax bill doesn't take care of the poor. And Hatch exploded. I am from the poor. And then he backtracked. I'm from the lower middle poor. And naturally, it got passed. Trump gave Hatch a medal. And yes, it all went to the rich, including the church. And it also allowed for the formation of LLC corporations to not have to report the source of their income. Oh, isn't that convenient? So it could be from terrorists, it could be from Russia. As the LLC corporations then funnel or launder the money into the stock market. So what did the church do? Well, thanks to Fox News' Max Roth, Fox 13 News Utah's Max Roth, $32 billion from the church's brand new formed at the beginning of the year when Monson was dead, or dying, or died. Yeah, the LLC corporations, about a dozen or so, $32 billion. Where did they get that money? They don't need to tell you. But we know they laundered it in the stock market, wherever the source came from. And then in that April conference, and a temple in a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And so, yeah, if you're thinking the China temple, again, was just, oh, okay, here you go, you can have this building to use as a temple. No. The church always has to pay for a temple. And remember that racket? Yeah, that was a PPE racket. Nelson calls up, says, hey, how bad is this coronavirus? Oh, really? It's spread through breath? It is a deadly one? People should stay home? I should shut down the church? Oh, by the way, should I, how should I pay you to get a temple in China? Oh, you want America to pay for PPE? Okay. So they give a whole bunch of PPE from a Mormon manufacturer and distributor. He sends it out as ordered. And then, lo and behold, oh, America has no place to get PPE. They have to order it from China. China didn't need our PPE. And so, yeah, they got paid for the temple with American states ordering their PPE. Oh, but wait, Trump has a son-in-law named Jared, and ordered Jared to confiscate all of the PPE coming from China. And so Utah, they only have the clip available of Governor Herbert at the airport with the unloading of the PPE, and he's all excited, he's all happy, and then they cut it when the government comes in and confiscates it, and forcing Utah to have to purchase more PPE from another source that was dropped off at the Wyoming border. This is how it's done in the church, guys. Those 23, because there was Ephraim and then there was the two other ones announced after conference. So 23 temples since April. This isn't fiscally conservative. The church has not enough membership in the majority of those locations to justify the building of a temple. It's all part of an investment scam for real estate, where what happens after destruction? Well, you have empty land. Well, what happens to that land? Who owns it? Oh, and what do you do with land? You develop it. You make money off of it. Oh. So what is the church doing? Yeah, they're doing a land grab. Why? Why in the latter days would they do a land grab? Yep, it's all because of 2024, when the Salt Lake Temple will be finished with the inverted pentagram of Isaiah's Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O inverted pentagram. So yeah, that's what it's about. And everything has been used for that purpose, to betray America, to destroy America. So all these Russian hacks ordered by Putin, nothing is done in Russia or from Russia unless Putin approves and orders it. Everybody who does business, so even the Marriott hotels, Putin allows them and gets a cut from the Marriotts. They're Mormon, by the way, in case you didn't know. Remember John, or is it John Marriott? Whatever his name is. He was on the news and was talking about the magic underwear as magic underwear. That's great. Successful business Mormons are loopy, talking about magic underwear. And so, yeah, the whole events that have been happening since Nelson have all been under Putin's orders, because the church paid for a temple in Russia. If you don't understand, Putin is a KGB trained mafia leader. He's the boss. The mafia, the Russian mafia, are under orders of Putin. You can't do business in Russia without getting criminally corrupt. So, yes, I know, the scripture says, be as wise as a serpent, but innocent as a bunny rabbit, or dove, or whatever animal. It doesn't matter. You're not being wise as a serpent if you're doing business with Russia. You know, just watch Blackmail, or, yeah, Blacklist, sorry. TV show with the Stargate guy. Daniel Jackson. So he's about to reveal to Kate his true identity and what's really going on. Or they're going to delay it, have us wait till next season, which may not happen if the end of the world happens. And so, yes, I have been telling you about the Exodus in the latter days. It's here. The rivers are dried up. The news just did a segment on it. I did the video segment. I've been warning you in advance. Green River, the turnoff of the 191, which is also the 6, and the 70. There's a Green River turnoff. And I told you, when things hit the fan, that is where you need to go. You know, Mormons have rejected it. You can see by the thumbs down. And so anybody else who's listening, that's where you meet. Because Russia, Putin, with his money from the church, has been involved in cyber hacks against America. And he's been targeting Mormon businesses. SolarWinds, Mormon rock, do the Mormon rock, or is it rap? And Microsoft, church invests in Microsoft. And then this latest one, JBS, church doesn't invest in it through tithing. See, remember, all these Microsoft and SolarWinds, GameStop, remember GameStop? Yeah, those are all church-invested companies. They made $6 billion off of your dead family's corpses last year for coronavirus. $6 billion just from your tithing. The church is murdering you. Because remember, he didn't shut down the church. He knew how serious the virus is and said, oh no, it's in the hands. I wash my hands. Governor Herbert and the local leaders are now in charge of whether we open the church. So yeah, do you think that's pressure on Herbert to open up Utah too early? Yep, sure enough. And he opened up too early, and the virus went to its highest point and still refused to shut it down again, because Nelson said it's up to the leaders of government. You know, Nelson is supposed to be in the office of Moses, section 107, verse 91. And yet, he doesn't even mention his name. Doesn't even bring up the Exodus. Doesn't bring up Passover. Instead, he wants to talk about the fake Jesus. And I had to link somebody who didn't know about Constantine, who created Homoousius and thus created Christianity. A Roman emperor. Not Jesus, a Roman emperor. The whole Trinity is a fraud. It's the big lie in history. And so the Jews, they changed Elohim to singular because of Constantine. Muslims created Allah because of Constantine. It's translated we in English. It's the big lie. And I've told you about Albert Pike, who wrote the letter to Giuseppe Mazzini outlining how the world would be destroyed and taken over. The Third World War is about taking down religion. How are they taking down religion? Exposing it as a fraud. How are they going to do that? Well, Jesus is supposed to come because all the signs in the heavens are happening. The signs on earth are happening. The signs of the evil are happening. Where's Jesus? Oh no! He's not coming from outer space on a flying horse. What do Christians do? Yeah. They will lose hope because no Jesus comes, as evil stood strong in the dust of hate of the blackest of hates. For he, the evil seer, awaits you. Now, many, many lifetimes later, they're destroyed, beaten down. Only the corpses of levels, ashes of dreams and blood-stained streets. It has been written that those who hold the youth hold the future. So come now, children of the audience of Motley Crue, and shout at the devil. You can pick your version. There's also the 1997 remake. Yep. Land Grab is also in that, if you didn't notice. Rising from the ashes. And so, yeah, cyber attack is fulfilling section 101, the parable, and starting in verse 43. The enemy coming in and destroying. I wondered what manner of attack it would be. Now we know. And it is the enemy. Russia is our enemy. They are attacking us. They are not our friends. You shouldn't want to be Russian rather than vote Democrat. They are the enemy. They're attacking us. We're at war. Congress refuses to declare war. They think, oh, no, we better do sanctions. That'll stop them. That'll teach them to behave, and that'll convince them of the error of their ways, and they will think twice and not do it anymore. When Putin attacks, he's doing it from a position of strength. He knows he can get away with it. That's what our government is refusing to understand. He's KGB trained. This was his job. He knows the art of war. And so the church paid for it with Mormon tithing.